Hey everyone, another day, another handheld, with this one being Anbernic's RG28XX. The RG28XX is just on the cusp of being a micro handheld, with it only being around a couple of inches high and has a tiny 2.8-inch display. It's available in 4 colorways, the Dreamcast-esque beige white, which is what I went with, as well as a transparent black, a retro grey or orange options also available. With Go Game Geek's ongoing promotion going on at the moment, you can get the RG28XX for a little shy of above $60 delivered. The RG28XX is powered by Anbernic's go-to for this range, the H700, which gives the ability for the RG28XX to play all sorts up to and including some but not all of the Dreamcast and Nintendo 64 catalogues, though you are of course limited by the smaller control set on offer here, as well as its pure emulation limitations. Otherwise, we've got a gig of RAM, the 2.8-inch screen with a 640 by 480 resolution, a pretty respectable, especially for its size, 3100 mAh battery, a Linux-based firmware, and all in for around 120 grams, making the RG28XX super portable. Straight out of the box, I do personally like the Dreamcast-esque colour option here, and it's certainly a compact shell with some small shoulder buttons, USB-C port, menu button and micro HDMI port out on top, the power and reset buttons on its right side, volume buttons on the left, and the headphone jack and dual micro SD card slots on the bottom. It's obviously a tiny shell, which although is pretty comfortable as a micro handheld go, it does feel a bit rattly and cheap compared to Anbernic's other handhelds, and the lack of wireless capabilities is a bit of a shame, but all in all, first impressions aren't too bad at all. In terms of controls, the RG28XX aren't bad by any means, but for me personally, they're not quite up there with Anbernic's best, and a lot of that is due to their smaller size. The good news though is that the buttons are certainly responsive, they have a good solid press to them, and you feel each button press, where micro handhelds do tend to be a bit more on the softer side. So the RG28XX does fare well here, and the D-pad is actually surprisingly serviceable once you've gotten used to its smaller size. But well, is it actually on the smaller size? You can see directly when compared to a standard Anbernic D-pad just how small it is. And although it does sound a bit obvious to point out that micro handheld controls are small, the RG28 controls are good overall. I just had to get used to their size first. For firmware, we've got the latest version of Anbernic's firmware that they've included in their past few handhelds, and it's good to see that things are constantly improving here, although we do have the quirkiness of having both standalone and RetroArch flavours of emulation, which can be a bit confusing, especially for newcomers, in terms of what options are available where, and dealing with any advanced configuration which may be available in RetroArch but not in the standalone emulators and so on. Anbernic also have built a few advanced options like disabling full shutdown within the power option, but they are hidden under the RetroArch apps for some reason, which again is very neat to have, but just a bit quirky to deal with. Anyway, I'll cut some emulation footage now before summarising back up at the end. So overall, the RG28XX has won me over. It's really neat to see this much power in such a small form factor, and although there are quirks and I wish the controls were a little bit bigger, and it had wireless capabilities, there's definitely a novelty of having access to things like a load of Naomi arcade titles in your pocket at all times. So if you're into your micro handheld, the RG28XX is certainly worth checking out. That's it from me though, thanks so much for watching.